the founding father who killed himself with a whalebone. This is a piece of whalebone. In the early 1800s, it was a common material for corset stays and umbrella ribs, but in 1816, it became a surgical instrument. The man holding it wasn't a doctor. He was one of the most brilliant minds of the American Revolution, the man who literally wrote the words, "We the people." But as he stood in his room at Morrisania, gripped by an agonizing physical blockage and a mounting sense of desperation, he decided to perform a surgery that no sane physician would ever attempt. What happened next is a story of medical horror, so visceral it was scrubbed from the history books for centuries. Today, we're uncovering the shocking final hours of Gouverneur Morris. To understand the tragedy, you first have to understand the man. Gouverneur Morris wasn't just any founding father. He was the penman of the Constitution. While others debated, Morris was the one who actually sat down and polished the language we still live by today. He was a titan, 6'4", witty and famously a bit of a rogue. He had lost his leg in a carriage accident years earlier, but he didn't let that stop him. He was a diplomat in Paris during the bloody reign of terror and a man known for his incredible endurance. But in the winter of 1816, at age 64, he met an enemy he couldn't outrun: his own body. Morris was suffering from a severe internal blockage. In the language of the time, it was a painful obstruction of the urinary tract. Today, a simple procedure or medication would clear it in minutes. In 1816, it was a potential death sentence. The doctors of the era were still bleeding patients with leeches and prescribing mercury for headaches. For a man like Morris, who had seen the horrors of the French Revolution and the limits of 19th century medicine, his trust in the medical establishment was thin. The pain became unbearable. Morris couldn't wait for a doctor who might just make things worse. In a moment of sheer, agonizing desperation, he reached for a piece of whalebone, likely taken from an old umbrella or a piece of his wife's clothing. He intended to use it as a makeshift catheter to manually clear the blockage. Imagine the scene: a man, alone in his room, attempting a delicate and deeply invasive internal surgery on himself with a jagged, unsterilized piece of bone. There was no anesthesia, no antiseptic, just the raw, frantic need to stop the pain. The surgery was a catastrophe. Instead of clearing the path, the whalebone caused massive internal trauma. Morris unknowingly caused severe lacerations and triggered a rapid, unstoppable infection. Within days, the penman of the Constitution was in a state of septic shock. He had survived the birth of a nation and the terrors of the French guillotine, only to be taken down by a piece of bone and his own hand. On November 6, 1816, Gouverneur Morris passed away in his home. Morris's death was so shocking that his family and biographers spent decades trying to hide the details, often attributing his passing to gout or natural causes. But the truth reveals the terrifying reality of life before modern medicine, where even the most powerful men in the world were just one desperate choice away from a gruesome end. History is written by the victors, but the details are often written in blood. If you want to see more of the dark history the schools forgot to mention, make sure to watch our deep dive into the human skeletons found in Benjamin Franklin's basement right here. And don't forget to subscribe to Timeless for more secrets from the past.